Okay, welcome here to 1.4 lesson. What we're going to do here is look at the warm-up. This is the order of operations, day 2 lesson. These problems are going to be a little bit more involved, so let's take a look in the warm-up here. So take a moment to go through these, maybe push pause. Here we go. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to do the 10 minus 8. And what you'll see is we'll go 10 minus 8. We'll get a 2. So let's write that down, 2. And notice how I'm keeping everything organized and right to the point. We've got a 28 divided by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. And you are done. For number 2, we're going to look at 8 plus 3 times the quantity 6 minus 7. So we're going to do 8 plus 3 first. We're going to get 11. And notice the care that I'm doing when I'm writing out my work here. We're not skipping steps. We're not going super fast through this. We're just taking our time and making sure that we're getting it correct. So slow down a couple seconds here, and you'll cut back on the errors. All right, so we did 8 plus 3, we got 11. 16 minus 7, we've got 9. And 11 times 9, well, let's see here. 11 times 9, go ahead and multiply that out. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9, so 99. Okay, looking at the order of operations, we're going to do the grouping symbols first. Grouping symbols are any parentheses, any brackets, absolute values, anything like that. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that there. So anytime you see a parentheses, grouping symbol, you're going to put that there. Functions, right? Basically, when we think about functions, we should be thinking about things like exponents. 3 to the second power. And just recall when you're working with exponents, that little subscript 2 right there means that you are multiplying 3 by itself. So do that, multiply that by itself, and get the answer. Okay? Now, the next one is you have divide and multiply. Now, a lot of students get mixed up with that, but the divide and multiply is done in order from left to right. So multiply does not always come before divide. Divide does not always come before multiply. It's whichever comes first from left to right. And then the last one, subtract and add, you do that also in order from left to right. These are some helpful hints in order to do some order of operations problems. Chunk the problems into smaller little parts, a little more bite-sized pieces so that you can do them. Look for pluses and minuses to separate the chunks out. Could be helpful. And maybe highlight the sections so you can evaluate some things at the same time. Okay? So let's take a look at the next one here, the first order of operations. And we're going to do that. And let's do this as a group. And when we do this, we're going to do the parentheses first. So do that. 8 minus 3 is 5. Notice we're going to keep everything underneath the problem so it's easier to spot, easier to find. So go 9 minus 5 divided by 5. We did the parentheses first. And then let's see what we've got. We've got a minus right here. We've got a divide, we've got a times, and we've got an addition. Now, a minus and a addition, those are not going to come before divide and multiply. Divide and multiply come before adding and subtracting. But what do we do here? Do we multiply here first? Do we divide here first? Well, it is done in order from left to right. So let's do that dividing first because it becomes before multiplying. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 1 times 2 plus 6. And that's 9 minus 1 times 2 plus 6. 1 times 2 is 2. And we've got 9 minus a 2 plus a 6. Okay? Don't add first. We're going to subtract. 9 minus 2 is 7. And 7 plus 6 is 13. Okay? The second one, may want to give this a shot. Okay? You might want to give this a shot right here, the second one. Ooh. Okay. All right. And in this second one, you can pause, come back to it, and we'll be right here. Okay? So the second one, we're going to go through, do the division first. We've got a times, we've got an add, we got to subtract. Okay, like the previous one, we're going to do the multiplication first. 3 times 4 is 12. We got 7 minus 12. 7 minus 12 right here is 5. And 5 plus 6, okay, use a calculator if you need it, is 1. Okay? So we're going to leave that as is. We're not going to touch anything. We're not going to do anything with that. We've got a 1, and we are done. All right? These next ones, we've got a 6 minus absolute value of 5 minus 8 plus 3 times 4 minus 1. Notice we got these these grouping symbols. We're going to do those first. Okay, we got 6. 5 minus 8 is a negative 3, but it's in the absolute value. We're not going to get rid of that. And we're going to put that there. And let's do the second grouping right here. 4 minus 1, I guess, is 3 as well. So we're going to leave that as is. Okay. Now, we've got 6 minus the absolute value of 3. Okay. Now, remember, the absolute value of 3 is the distance that 3 is away from 0 on the number line. So let's say that you have a 0 right here on the number line, and you have, let's say, a negative 3 right here. Negative 3 is a distance of 3 units. 3 units. 3 units away from 0. The reason why we say it's 3 units because distance is always a positive number. So absolute value of anything is always going to be positive, okay, no matter what. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. We've got 6 minus a 3 plus 3 times 3. Okay. We've got a subtraction, addition, and multiplication. Let's do the multiplication first. And we have 6 minus a 3 plus 9. 6 minus the 3 is 3. Okay. And a 3 plus 9 is a 12. So let's leave that as is. We've got a 12, and you are done with that. Okay. Number 2 right here, the second one, you might want to try on your own. All right. Pause it. We'll be right here. But let's do this here first. We've got a parenthesis. So 1 to the 4th. Now remember, 1 to the 4th is 1 multiplied by itself 4 times. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. And we've got a 1. 2 to the 2nd. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So we're going to do that. Okay. Doing everything like that in the parentheses. Minus 2 to the 5th divided by 4. So let's do that parentheses and finish that off. 1 times 4 is 4. And 4 plus 27 is going to be 31. We'll do that in just a moment. But before that, we'll write this out. Okay. 4 plus 27 is 31. 2 to the 5th is 2 times 2, 5 times, which is 32. So don't be afraid to write out 2 to the 5th. Writing it out is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And you can multiply that and get 32. Now you got a subtraction and you got a division. Well, our order of operations says we divide before we subtract. We've got 31 minus 28, or sorry, minus 8, and that's a 23. Okay. Our next one right here, and our final one is going to be this one right here where we're dividing. We've got a fraction, a big old fraction. Let's do each part separately. Let's do the numerator first and the denominator second. Okay. So in the numerator, we're going to do the parentheses first. And inside this parentheses, we've got a subtraction and a division. We are going to do the division before we do the subtraction. 8 divided by 4, excuse me, I'm going to erase that. That should be a subtraction sign. Let's see here. That should be a subtraction sign. This is 3. And this is 6 minus 2. And we'll write out the bottom. 5 times 2 minus 3 to the second power. There it is. 6 minus 2 is 4. We'll write that on top. This is 3 times 4. Write that there. And this is 5 times 2 minus 3 to the second power. So let's do that. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. That's done. 5 times 2 on the bottom is 10. 3 to the second is 9. And we've got 12 over 10 minus 9, which is 12 over 1, which is equal to 12. Write it out. You're done with that. Finish that off. Okay, the final one, you can always pause here and we'll be right back. Okay, when you push play. All right, number 3, we've got 4 plus the square root of 64. Well, what's the square root of 64? Well, what number times itself is 64? And that's 8. We've got a division, and we've got the parentheses right here. 7 minus 3 to the second. Let's do the parentheses. 3 to the second is 9. We've got a 7 minus a 9. And this is times. This is the dividing. Okay. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. This is 2 times a negative 2. This is the dividing. We've got an 8. We've got a plus 4 right here. Now we've got a plus, a dividing, and a multiplying. Okay? Dividing is going to come first. 8 divided by 2 is 4 times a negative 2. Write it out as such. This is 4 plus 4 times negative 2. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8. And 4 plus a negative 8 is a negative 4. Okay? You'll have a CSI assignment. I like you to do those 10 problems, practice those 10 problems, and when you're done, submit that into Schoology.